One of the scariest scenes on Haunting of Hill House was when Steve, which is the oldest brother, walks into his house and he turns on the light and he sees Nell. There are so many layers to this scene. There are so many layers of horror in this specific scene on both sides when you think about it. Steve walks upstairs, he turns on the light and he sees Nell. Nell is seemingly frozen. She's not speaking, and it's almost like she doesn't know where she is or what's going on. Steve keeps speaking to her like nothing, because for him it's like, oh, why are you standing there? Why didn't you tell me Luke was here? The first aspect of horror is having an intruder in your home and not knowing that they're there waiting for you. He turned on the light, she was there. He got kind of spooked. It wasn't that big of a deal, but it's creepy in its sense. Then we see Nell and her facial expressions. The actress gave a great performance showing the desperation and confusion on her face. You as a viewer start to realize that she's dead. That's already horrifying to you as the viewer. But when she realizes that she's dead, that is the third layer of horror. Your own death, realizing it and not being able to do anything about it. Being in limbo, not knowing where you are. That's horrifying. Dying itself is already a layer. Death is scary. You don't want to die, you want to live on. And then she moves forward and she screams and she turns into a ghost. She turns decrepit, scary, horrifying into a ghoul. Steve is witnessing this and he is scared out of his mind, bringing in a generic layer of horror, which is the horror of being haunted by a ghost, of seeing something completely disturbing and supernatural, right? That is the general layer of horror. That is the basics of it, honestly. But one final layer of horror that you realize as the episodes go on is the fear of mental health issues. Steve already struggles with reality and denial. He doesn't believe that Hill House is haunted. He doesn't believe that his mother was possessed or anything like that. He simply thinks that she took her own life because of her mental health and hallucinations and anything else that was suspected. Now he is actually witnessing something and he refuses to believe it's real. So what's the next thing that is still a more acceptable truth but equally horrifying? That he has mental health issues just like his mother did. And then we see that later on in the episode where he made certain decisions because of fear of passing on his genetics to his future children, all because he's in denial. Of course, as the viewer and as an outsider, another horror would be that you're being haunted by a loved one, being haunted by something that's taken the form of someone that you love, or being haunted by that someone that you love who already passed away. Those are other layers that can be discussed. So which layer really did it for you? Which layer was absolutely horrifying in this scene? Which layer is more disturbing for you? Comment it down below and don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!